Make it a brave soul to volunteer.
I'll be brief.
Go ahead.
Because this is a book I have been working on off and on since the 90s. And I can't, I'm stuck, and it's because of the main character, I'm pretty sure.
So 3 characteristics and a problem. Go ahead.
All right. So, some, the characteristics he has, he's good looking, he's young, he's a college prof, and he works with mostly grad students and interns and things like that. And he thinks, he knows that he's really smart, okay, both, he thinks it and he knows it. But, he hates authority, and the intern that was assigned to him is his boss's daughter. And she's lazy and spoiled, and he doesn't know how to deal with her. And part of his problem is that he doesn't want to admit that he has foibles. He thinks he's perfect, basically.
Okay.
And he's not. And so what he has to figure out, his challenge, is how he's going to relate to this gal who also has a crush on him. That complicates it more. Without being inappropriate and without getting her into a tantrum and running to her dad to fire him or whatever.
Right.
So that's the character I've been struggling with. I have other books going, so.
The girl's name is
Clarissa.
Clarissa, and the guy's name is?
Felix.
Okay, so what is it that Clarissa has that Felix really needs?
Pardon me?
What is it that Clarissa has that Felix really, really, really needs? Anybody?
He needs, oh, go ahead.
I mean, just,
Job security?
well, but I'm thinking to her personally. What does she bring that he?
She's quite intelligent and capable. She just doesn't wanna do the work.
And he's alone?
Pardon me?
He's alone?
Well, he's working on.
No,
actually-
romantically, I mean.
Oh, no, he doesn't, he's not interested in her romantically. He doesn't have a girlfriend either, but he doesn't, I mean, he's not gay, he just so involved in his project that he doesn't look at, and I think he's a little bit gun shy of women anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
So one of the games you can play with this is take your problem and make it worse.
Oh, I did.
Like because what would happen that would make his situation worse? Anybody have an idea?
She'd be more inappropriate. She's inappropriate because of her liking him.
Yeah, I mean, she probably has some leeway with the organization that enables her to act almost how she wants to. Whereas he has all kinds of restraint.
Yeah. And she has subtly expressed her, she calls him by his first name instead of Dr. Morrow, which is his, and he insists that she call him Dr. Morrow, not by his first name.
Your favorite part of the character is what?
That my favorite part of which character?
Of his?
Of his.
Of Felix.
That he's a gentleman, he doesn't take advantage of women, I guess is my favorite part.
Okay.
And but he's so clueless. That's another thing. He's clueless about relationships, and his idea of fun is to go play golf once a week with his buddies.
Yeah.
And so,
It seems like a setup for a love story.
well, it is, but it's not with Clarissa.
Okay, all right. So it's not appropriate for him to be attracted to her,
No,
and he's not,
no.
but he could be accused of that.
Could be,
Mhm.
It
she
would
has
certainly
that
appear that,
power,
yeah.
and but, and he's also afraid that she'll go running to daddy if he tries to make her actually do some work,
Mhm.
because she doesn't wanna do anything except just, she doesn't really wanna use her talents that she has.
Right.
And that frustrates him because he knows she can do that.
Some would call her character a spoiled princess.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's
For that reason,
exactly right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you handle the advances of a spoiled princess? And with the idea in mind that he's actually older and understands that character is gonna become important, that who she really is as a person is at stake. Okay, all right. I buy that. Someone else.
I don't think I did it right.
Well, do you have a couple characteristics and a problem?
Well, yeah, I can read it, but I don't have,
Go ahead,
okay. I just started writing a story.
that's fine,
All right.
that also works.
Dulcie loved the long walk she took each week to visit her friend Selena, whom she'd known since childhood. One day she decided to go a different way. It was a little longer as she had to cross a stream which led into a more forested area. It had been a few years since she had gone this way. The trees had grown and foliage was more dense than she remembered. Now she was concerned that she was a bit lost. She tried calling her friend, but her cell phone was out of area.
Okay, so,
I was gonna go into the other character, but I didn't have time.
but she has, so the problem she has is, being physically lost.
Yeah.
What's the other level of that, though? What's the other way in which you see this character as lost?
I didn't cross that yet.
But if you had to make it up on the spot.
Well, I was gonna make, the friend in a wheelchair, so she couldn't come looking for her, she was late,
Okay, there's a barrier,
yeah.
and, which is not a barrier to their friendship, but is a barrier to her helping.
Yeah, so I have, that's as far as I got.
Yeah.
So I guess what didn't I do that I was supposed to do?
No, the thing is, one of the characters in your piece is the forest.
Okay,
Acknowledge that one of your characters is the forest,
Okay.
and decide whether they're malevolent
okay.
or not, and what that means. Because you've got a dreamy character who loves to walk
Uh-huh.
and have a lot of time to themselves. Does this resonate with anybody? The idea of just giving a lot of room for her imagination to grow, and the way she sees the world and the way the world actually is could be very different.
Okay.
And if you want to explore it.
I just started writing.
Yeah, okay, and it's totally legit. One of the ways to make the problem worse, though, is have more at stake for her than just whether she's physically lost in the moment.
Mhm.
Is there, and this is overdone, I know, but sometimes just make your character blind for 2 pages and see what you get. Just
Okay.
add vulnerability and see what you get. Sometimes you can pull that vulnerability right back out, but it'll teach you a lot about the character. And whether you've got somebody that's gonna overcome challenges, or someone that never has really been challenged and is about to hit a wall of challenge, which is really interesting. I went to a bunch of graduations this year, and some of the people I was related to, they have never really encountered any kind of controversy or trouble.
Oh,
And they think life is perfect, and all the adults around them are just smiling. You know, just going, go, off you go, you know, because it's inevitable. There's gonna be some kind of challenge,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And if there isn't, that's a different kind of writing. You know, it's more the fairy tale if you only have a small amount of peril and a big happy ending. But allow the peril in, and this is worth noting. I have no reason to direct this at you, but just to the whole group. Be comfortable with more peril than you would personally like. Because as a writer, it's a great place for the reader to get in and really welcome it. The reader will kick the doors down to get into your story if there's enough peril. Because it will help them with their own peril,
Mhm.
right? But if you have no peril at all, or very little peril, there's a simple misunderstanding that's going to be cleared up on page 17. They're not as drawn in because in their life, there are too many things they can't control, and they're really wrestling with how to balance it all. Aren't we all? Right?
Yeah.
So just as a note to yourself, while you're thanking yourself more for doing your job, can you write a note to yourself that says, be a little bit more patient with peril, allow more peril. Because you're really just telling the readers, come on, put your story right here. Okay? And I like that. I like the start. I just want peril. I want some trouble. In a novel, we're supposed to have our main characters in trouble or in love on the first page. And usually those are the same.
Yeah.
They're in trouble about the love. They've fallen in love with the wrong person. They can't fall in love with that person. That's a sure, disqualification from the college. But something happens. And you don't want to go completely dark. I'm not suggesting that it all becomes this lurid thing. But the real peril of the situation, what's his plan for his life, for instance, for your character? Where's he really going? And how that would be certainly set aside by scandal. So he has a whole different mentality, Felix does, to scandal than she does. Somebody else? I'll take two more. Go ahead, yeah. Some characteristics and a problem.
His name was Dennis. He had long blonde hair and wore glasses. Kids picked on him because of his glasses and because he had heart problems and couldn't keep up.
Okay. What are the heart problems?
They skip a beat.
Oh, okay, arrhythmia.
It skips
okay.
a beat, yeah, arrhythmia.
And can that kill him?
Like, well, yeah, if it's not taken care of.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Do you guys trust him?
He would need a pacemaker.
You trust Dennis? It is Dennis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dennis needs an intervention and is also going through regular life. So there's this outside life that other people see where he's bullied, pretty normal. And then there's this inside life where he's actually bullied by his own body.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I
that's
mean?
good.
It's like,
Yeah.
like everywhere I turn, there are fists.
Oh,
I'm getting punched by, my own heartbeat.
poor kid.
Right. And so he's going to need a confidant. He's going to need someone to tell that to because he very poetically will describe isolation and a struggle to be loved and wondering whether he's running out of time.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted, it's a love story. He could be talking to somebody who's a love interest or a really good friend, depending on kind of your target.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay. Cool. The gift of a friend, a friendship that goes, that's sort of against all odds, not that explainable, but we are all saved by a friend at one point or another in our lives.
Mhm.
Sometimes the best friend is a sister, but sometimes there's somebody, my wife works in education in elementary school, and she says, with new kids, if they just make one friend,
Yeah.
it's everything, right? And that moment never goes away, no matter what your age is. That moment of a friendship where somebody reaches out
Yeah.
and you realize we're already connected. This is so cool, right?
Yep.
The beautiful thing. Okay, somebody else? Anybody else feel particularly courageous? It's okay. We can move ahead. But
Well,
go ahead.
well, I had the character as Raymond. He's imaginative, slow to act on whatever, and he's a social butterfly. And the challenge, he has this house he wants to build, but, slow to act, he procrastinates.
How long has he owned the property that he's going to build on?
Haven't even decided he's even on the property yet.
Okay, so I buy the character.
Mm-hmm.
What they're going to need is somebody who's not slow to act
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
in their life.
Yeah.
Who's at least critical of the, the fear of making mistakes, which is
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
assuming, but I could be wrong.
More
but-
than likely,
So there's
yeah.
this like, okay, what if you make a mistake? And the whole idea that somebody comes along who says, what if you don't live because you're worried about mistakes? And so then that bonding, whatever it is, romantic friendship, creates a totally different universe for your character.
Mhm.
And the beauty of it is, didn't see it coming, didn't ask for it, really needed another perspective, right?
Yeah.
I needed this somebody to say, hey, what if we're this close to victory here, and we just need to work together? That sort of thing.
A little goad, a little inspiration there.
When your character slows things down, when they don't take action, when they don't speak up, like The Crown famously, the actress playing the queen in The Crown said, nothing is often the right thing to do and the wisest thing to say. Nothing. Right? Well,
Yep.
and that kind of describes the royal family sometimes, of what they, in some major events, they've said and done nothing. But if that's your main character, you need an opposite to that, because we'll get bored with the delay and maybe even impatient with your main character. So when you give somebody a problem like that, you want to give them an opportunity to kind of meet the challenge and become somebody, rethink their life, reframe it, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And if you do that, then becoming will be a great story. Will be, it'll pull a lot of readers in, because we're all kind of becoming, right? Yeah. And give him an opportunity to speak for himself in an arena where normally he wouldn't even speak at all. And he finds himself and speaks up against a wrong, for the sake of a love, something, for a cause, or to prevent some terrible evil.
Kind of reminds me of this ad I've been seeing on television where the guy's gonna remodel the kitchen.
Right,
He's gonna remodel the kitchen. He's gonna remodel the kitchen.
yeah, yeah. In the South, we used to say, I'm fixing to get ready.
Yeah. Yep.
And fixing to get ready is endless.
Yeah.
There's not even a plan, but you're fixing to get ready, and then you'll go do it. Yeah. And then that would be you could have a lot of fun with time and timing in the piece by just building around a character that is safest when they get to slow things down, and then put them in a situation where they can't.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Nice.
The questions I was gonna suggest, there's two ways to go with this exercise. One is we play make it worse, make the problem worse, right? And you can do that with just a negative imagination. If you're not blessed with a negative imagination, write me a note and I'll send you a bunch of ideas, because I grew up with this, like, it can always be worse. It can always get worse. Sometimes the key to a really good character is enough of a challenge, is a big enough challenge. We're fascinated by that. But the other way to go with that is to ask these three questions. Is the character vivid enough to be interesting? And I'll repeat these a couple of times so you get a chance to write them down. But vivid enough to be interesting. And number two, are their challenges big enough? It is a challenge when the mail is not delivered on Tuesday, but it's going to be delivered on Wednesday, so it's not that big a challenge, right? But if you're waiting for something in the mail, it could be a really big challenge to wait that extra day. Is the challenge big enough? The first one was, is the character vivid enough? And then secondly, are their challenges, the challenges they have, are they big enough? And then finally, is there enough at stake to compel character action and reader engagement? Is there enough at stake? And I know you can't have the world is going to blow up every time, right? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Douglas Adams says, don't blow up the universe on page 1, because you might need it. And that's exactly what he does. In Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, he blows up the whole universe, and then they're They're off in the universe trying to search for it, for meaning and
Yeah.
what their next step is. Last one was, is there enough at stake to compel character action and reader engagement? Charlie and Grimm is the name of the piece I referenced earlier. And if Charlie is a pure hypochondriac, every bump is cancer. Every sore muscle is some terrible thing growing inside of it, right?
Mhm.
And so that's kind of a little bit about what's at stake, because it drives behavior, it drives his complaint. He has a regular complaint that he feels his wife is overlooking. And she's not overlooking, he's not on the list.
Right.
So she can give him assurance that he's not gonna die, which he does not listen to,
Apparently.
because he's a hypochondriac, and his truth is the truth, right?
Mhm.
At the same time, before she met Charlie, Grimm never danced in the kitchen. She never turned over the pots and got out some chopsticks and played the drums. She never got on the roof, and when the sunset was amazing, just screamed in joy. Charlie brought all of that into her life.
Mhm. That's cool. Mhm.
And she gets ready for work and looks like the Grim Reaper, puts on a little lipstick, and he stares at her because he feels like he's the luckiest guy in the world. That someone so dark and serious and sexy likes him. There's even a scene, I think is a tender scene, when she says, there's gonna be a little death in the house. And he's like, the dog's not sick. He's going through all these other things. And she said, no, she feels her belly, a little death.
I get it.
A baby.
And it still moves me when I think about it. But the idea that these two are so oddly placed together and they're gonna have a baby, and the way they react is totally different because she's very logical and he's all over the room, right? He's bouncing with this new responsibility. The things that draw you guys to your own writing are worth noting. If you're not taking a highlighter to your own writing and going really good, better than good, excellent, this is fun, this could lead somewhere, you're probably missing a chance to be your own cheerleader. And I really want to underscore the point. Waiting for somebody else to see it, they'll see it eventually. But part of you highlighting those things that you love is to start to learn when you're halfway across the river. Halfway across the river is just really pre-drowning. It's a good step, but you gotta get all the way across the river or you're gonna get swept away. So you can highlight something you love and say, this is wonderful, cool, I love the way this turns suddenly. I think it's interesting that she calls the baby a little death. And then suddenly the audience is in on the joke, right? But get all the way across so that the experience the reader has is what you're hoping for. Not just, well, these are good ideas, but you didn't really flesh them out. When you hear that from a critique group, I was interested, but then you kind of lost me. When you hear that kind of thing, make a big note. Spend more time on it. This is another paragraph. I'm going to pull you in, and you're going to really you're going to start rooting for someone. You know readers do that, right? Within the first page and a half, they're rooting for your character or rooting against your character. And sometimes you want them rooting against. Sometimes you have a main character that's evil and has a terrible plot, a nefarious plot to take over something or to destroy something, and you want us rooting against them. But they are rooting right away. Nobody has to tell them to root. They're there to root. Their rooter is not broken. They are ready to hope for your character more than you think. If you give them enough little details. Some of you are invested in the Grim Reaper actually having a baby with this guy. Why would that be? Oh, because you believe in love. Because you believe in opposites attracting and somehow, against all odds, making it work. And I'm right there with you, cheering as well. But I'm hoping that there's enough to cheer for and that you kind of know your role immediately. Once you get into the piece, you're watching and you're experiencing it, and you're going, of course he would say that. And of course she would say that, right? They meet at a party, and forgive me for quoting my own work so much, I apologize. But they meet at this party, and he says, it's not a costume party. And she says, you can see me? And he goes, yeah, you look great, but it's not a costume party. That's how they meet.
Uh-huh.
And so when he finds out who she is, he's in a big panic now, because he's like, if I can see you, what does it mean that I can see you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Most people who see you don't come back from this. Go ahead and fall in love with those things about your own work. It's okay. It's okay that you rendered it and you're quoting yourself a little bit or you're highlighting your own work. It's okay. Because especially if you're really charmed by something, and in my case it's kind of humor and offbeat stuff, then I want to come back and say, okay, what's the reader experience really like? Are they getting this or are they missing? A couple suggestions. Vivid is the first point. Is the character vivid enough to be interesting? 2, are the challenges big enough? Play with the challenges. Feel free to have challenges rush into somebody's life all in the same scene, in the same moment. You can get a call, things can get complicated, right? Anybody who's been on a road trip knows that things can come apart.
Well, we've got a story about that.
Yeah, and the more remote, the further you are from help, the more likely the car begins to sputter, make odd noises, and the steering wheel becomes a decoration, and you're like, okay, we probably should have taken the newer car on this trip. And that's really when the story starts, you guys, when the trouble happens, when trouble shows up. So you're gonna have to be patient with trouble yourself, because your tendency as a writer is, well, I've got you all here, nobody dies, just so you know, we're gonna be fine, we're gonna get through this together. And the truth is, that's not life. And your reader's gonna be less likely to put their story in the middle of your work if you make it all so rosy, right? Questions? Just generally about anything I've said, or kind of comparing what you've heard to taking it home and applying it to what you write. Yes?
We were thinking about writing like an autobiography of our lives growing up,
Uh-huh.
but should we make it more like a story? I mean, like a novel, or should it be an autobiography, or what?
What's your motivation for writing it?
To help other people that have gone through what we did. We've gone through lots of different things.
Yeah, and it isn't just being twins, that's just kind of a subtext to a big story.
Well, we have a title already, Double Trouble, Double Blessings, but it's like, we're kind of
trouble.
we're kind of stuck on how to write it.
Yeah, well, I think it would have 2 strong characters, just guessing, you know? And twins are the same, and then twins are not the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that whole experience is very unique. Like, you're not just mirror copies of each other, but there are times when there's almost a mystical connection, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be people that will be curious about it and want to understand a mystical connection, because every human being is trying to connect with another human being.
Mm-hmm.
And so you start with 2 people who are roommates before anybody knew who they were.
Roommates, yeah.
I mean, you share a room and then lose your lease. And out you come, right? And there's a lot of places where that's fun and interesting and completely, there's a wonder to it.
Yeah.
And so if you guys have wonder about how you've gotten through what you've gotten through,
Yeah.
I would write the word wonder on the wall somewhere. You know, I mean, I would keep coming back to wonder, because I think it's transporting for your audience. Whatever you
Right.
decide, memoir, novel.
And it's mostly how God gave us the tenacity to get through it all.
Ooh, well, that's really important, because I think we discover we have grit by using grit,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't, and if you ask us in front of that, we'd say, we have a very small amount of grit over here, we're protecting it very carefully, and then we're asked for a metric ton of grit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And if you got asked the question, you'd say, oh, we are way out of grit. We are low on grit. But then you realize, okay, I use a little bit, it grows. It's like hope that way. You give it away, you get
Mhm.
more. And so there's a lot to learn from your experience.
Yeah.
Be willing to teach, even if you don't feel like teachers. Be willing to let the experience you've had teach people.
Exactly.
And that's where, even if you buy like a mortar board, you know, like you become professorial, you say,
Mhm.
we're gonna let this moment teach a little, and you take turns wearing it, you know, and back and forth it goes. This is a moment where we are teaching, but there was a moment when we were learning too.
Yep.
So both are important. A lot of people shy away from that. They don't really think their experience teaches anybody anything, but most of what we learn comes from other people's experience,
Yep.
honestly. So
Mhm.
my main thing would be keep it fresh, keep it connected to your sense of wonder at the journey you've had.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you could do a brainstorm if you're like given to sweets, put a lot of candy on the table and brainstorm about biggest wonderment moments for us. You know, when we just looked at each other and went, good night, this is amazing. You know,
Yep. Yeah.
that this journey is us.
It is.
Every once in a while, I turn to my wife and I say, I'm really glad it's us,
Oh,
right?
nice.
And that's what it sounds like. You know, it sounds like you've got this partner right from the start.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. And it means great things. Sometimes it means huge irritations. Don't shy away from the irritations.
I think we only get irritated with each other when we were little and wanted the same toy. Or
Right, which is just regular sister stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, understand that what you're describing though, and what you're modeling is a mystery, and people are enchanted by that mystery.
Mm-hmm.
And
Cool.
you've bumped into people who are like, made assumptions about twins and whether you have your own language and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And you look at each other in your own language and say, this is ridiculous, we're not gonna talk to this guy. Our first two grandchildren are twin girls.
Oh, cool.
So a little bit, they're 4 now,
Oh, cute.
so just brand new. getting
So
started.
cute.
But yeah, stick with wonder would be my counsel.
Okay, perfect.
Because sometimes the gas or the juice that gets you into a project, we let go of it somehow. We think it was just for starters.
Yeah.
And maintaining that can be really useful because as
Maintaining wonder.
people, you become, Napoleon said, a leader is a dealer in hope. And I think honestly, in your case, it's gonna be like dealers in wonder a little bit. And maybe
Mhm.
there's a better word than wonder. You'll find the word. But whatever it is, it'll be like your guys' word for it.
Okay,
Okay?
cool.
The
Thank you.
magic of your life. Yes?
I would like to address that too. I just finished my memoir.
Oh, yeah.
And so one of the books that really helped me right away to find out where to begin with the story. Because sometimes we think maybe we should begin at the beginning, but that's not where we should begin. We need to begin with what's most alive and the wonder, go with what's most alive, starting to free write those things. And if you're both free writing separately on the things that come to your mind, where that, and the way this started is a woman, pardon me, Lisa Dale Norton has written a book called Shimmering Images.
Cool.
It's a handy little guide to writing memoir, and part of it is deciding whether you're going to do an autobiography, which begins with your birth to now, or the memoir, which is the wonder, the wonder of being twins. That's where you're picking, the whole pie is the autobiography, but the memoir is
Yes.
what you really want to write about. And so she kind of defines that for me, she defined it, and I just got a big yellow legal pad with much thought about what is it that's really standing out, and that's where I began my memoir. She said it's like looking at a beautiful river, and there's sparkling things, because she said often we start at the wrong place, but you're looking for what's shimmering, what's really standing out. And then you write like a midwife. You write without editing. You're birthing this thing. You're not thinking, you're not rereading it.
Keep at it. Yeah.
You just are birthing that image, what that story is.
Uh-huh.
And it's the collection of those images, because the one will lead to another.
Yeah.
And
Gina, I have
eventually.
a suggestion that goes on the end of
Yeah.
that. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
If you had to tell the story of your life when you're writing memoir, there are a bunch of stories that would have to be in there. There are a couple moments, and there's usually some kind of line of disappointment, and either it's really cool what happened, or something was really missing.
Yeah.
And so you have a choice, but you do want to include both of those above
Yes,
and below
that's
the line of
correct.
disappointment.
Yeah.
But if we tell the story without this little story, what's left out? And you'll find there's 5 or 6, sometimes as many as 10 vignettes that have to be in there.
That's correct. And we call it the golden thread too. Your story's gonna tie together with the golden thread.
Sure.
So that's when he said, what is it about twins? And I think you've had a revelation, the wonder. And
Yeah.
so you're somewhere along the line, it's
Yeah.
going to be awesome being a twin, but it's also going to be hard being a twin, or wherever it is the heart of the story that you want your reader to know.
Yeah.
And the golden thread will take you all the way through from beginning to end.
I love that.
So, and if you'll write down the title of that book, I think you'll be delighted. I can even show you a picture of it afterwards, so.
And my
Shimmering it.
suggestion about the title is that you shorten it
Okay.
Yeah.
to twice.
Oh, twice.
Because it's not a whole sentence, it's just, something more direct that could grab somebody,
That's a beautiful idea.
for what it's worth.
Yeah, I like twice.
Anybody else? Any other questions? Yes?
Well, it's not really a question, it's just when I tell you how much I appreciate this, because this little exercise is showing me that I need to start my story in a different spot.
Yeah. As Gina was saying that, I thought this was around the room, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's terrific.
That was, oh yeah, because I've been struggling with this for years.
In the theater, we say, the curtains are gonna open and stuff is gonna be going on. You get to decide what's going on, but the problem is, we want like a lot of buildup sometimes, and really, if you study songwriters, they get you from the beginning, right from the start.
Right.
There's a.
There's the hook.
Yep.
Yeah.
There immediately you care. I'm gonna sing this one line from a song for you, because I'm such a fan of the storytelling of this particular song, which is by John Prine. And it goes like this. The very first line of the song is, "Death took the husband of a neighbor of mine with the drunk, from a drunk highway at the wheel. She said, keep your clean hands off the laundry he left, and don't tell me you know how I feel. She had a tape that he'd made her in the Holiday Inn that she never played much in the day. When I heard him say I love you through their window at night, I just stayed the hell away."
Wow.
And there's so much narrative. Like, this guy was sleeping with his neighbor's wife,
Like,
and who was killed by a drunk driver. There's all this story, because the curtains opened and it was here we go.
wow.
And that's where a lot of first lines, the emphasis on first lines comes from, is like, right away you know something of the problem, something of the character, something of the situation.
Nice.
And a lot of times, you buried it 15 pages in, and somebody could just pick it up and go, can we start here? This seems so interesting,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Other questions?
Does that mean, are you all the done, or is this a break time?
Well, we can take a break and I'm yours, so that's fine. Let's take a break. How long do we usually break for?
10, 15 minutes?
Okay, so it's 12 minutes. You heard